So what actually changes when we start to live in alignment and we start to listen to ourselves and having that trust in ourselves? What's going to change? So hello everyone, my name is Krista and this is video 9 in the Coming Home to You series that I've started. So if you haven't watched the first 8 videos, you can kind of watch that after this one. And I'm just going to do a brief recap about what we've learned so far and this series. So first of all, we're just gonna, we talked about awareness, just being aware of coming home to ourselves, really what that means, how that's gonna look. And we've reconnected with our body in various just ways. We've given ourselves a little bit of space, a little bit of time, and also understanding our body is always speaking to us. We have also started to trust some of those little subtle nudges, those little whispers, those little downloads. We're trusting what our body is sharing with us as well too. And then we start to like listen to more. The more you do this, the more you will find that you will have greater trust and you'll get more of those messages. So that's what we've covered so far in this series. And today, in today's video, I just want to share with you when you start to encompass all these different components as well too. As we move along the continuum, something starts to change and starts to shift in your body. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, really kind of honoring, what this looks like in your day-to-day life when you start to have more trust and you start to listen to yourself as well too. Okay. So the first thing, which I think is so wonderful, and I think everyone could use a little bit more of this in our current world, is just we feel calmer. We feel calmer. We feel more grounded. We kind of feel more like ourself. We have more peace. Our nervous system starts to regulate a little bit more and we're not as frantic. I often find too, women will sleep better. They'll sleep through the night because, sometimes, we're getting these little kind of, we're not living in alignment. Our sleep will suffer as well too. So it'll literally keep us awake at night too. So when we start to live in alignment to what is true for us, what feels right, this will show up in how we are, how we be really. So that's one wonderful thing, because I think, there's a lot of stress, a lot of fear, a lot of disconnection, a lot of distraction. So just being able to feel good in your body is, I think, a wonderful thing as well too. Secondly, you will have less second guessing. You won't be ruminating. You won't be overthinking every decision. You're like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Because you will trust those little nudges. You will trust yourself as well too. You know what's best for you. It's just, so you don't have to second guess everything, and you don't have to ask everybody, your friends, your family, the internet, the person on TV, what's best for you. You know what's best for you. And that just, there's no second guessing, and also you don't really care what other people do as well too. I'm kind of like, you do you, but I know what's best for me. And I feel confident when I know what's best for me as well too. I don't need to ask other people's opinions. And I know what's best, and I can live my life that way too. So you trust what's coming inside. You don't ask the external world what is best for you. So there's less second guessing when you start to live in alignment, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And also too, you have clearer boundaries. When you live in alignment, people aren't going to ask you to do everything and be everything or help with everything, because they also kind of know that you've got some boundaries now and you uphold those boundaries. For an example, like I stopped drinking a few years ago. That just did not feel in alignment for me. My intuition said to let this go. And I was never a big drinker in the first place, but I kind of stopped. And so now when I'm in situations, like people just know, like they know I don't drink and it's not a big deal. But again, sometimes you just have clear boundaries. You're not expected to do certain things. And that's kind of just how it works as well too. And also again, you kind of know you've got your back, which is kind of a lovely way of knowing that as you move through the world, that you have your back. You can trust yourself, and you just know what's best for you. And others you will find will start to respect that as well too. They kind of see something in you that they're like, wow, that's kind of, she knows where she's going, and she knows what's true for her. And at times that can become a little bit magnetic, and it's just, but you kind of know. So I would say alignment for a lot of people, when you start to do this work, it just feels more like peace, just this deep peace. And it's not like it's an excitement. It's just this really grounded, calm presence, full of wisdom. That's kind of how you start to move through your world. All right. When you start to trust yourself. So let's talk now a little bit like what changes. So again, I talked about, you're not going to have those second chance. You're not going to have those decision makings will just become easier. You just kind of make a decision and you can move forward. You don't have to ruminate. You don't have to think about it. That just kind of eliminates. And when this happens, you don't realize how much energy is used in making some of these decisions, how we often feel stuck all the time, and days turn into months and turn into years, and you're kind of in the same situation that you were, and you're still talking about the same stories over and over again, right? Like, hello, like I think it's quite common. So when you start to live in alignment, that energy is gone. It's used towards other things. It's used towards moving yourself forward instead of just kind of staying stuck all the time and talking about the same thing over, so that is as one great decision, one great thing that comes as a result of this. Also, you will find when you start to live in alignment with yourself and you listen to yourself, your relationships will change. And I've noticed this for myself as well too, that they change. Because you're not asking people for their opinions, you know what works for you, and oftentimes you're not willing to self-betray yourself anymore. You know what works for you, and you're not willing to just follow the crowd. You're not willing to do what everyone else does. You're not willing to do some of the things that maybe you did in the past because you just didn't know any different. So your relationships change. People might think you're a little bit not so nice anymore. You might start people pleasing as much. You might not be asked to do as much as you might have been before. And that's okay. That's a good thing, I think. So notice that your relationships may change, and just to be aware of that. Some people might fall out of your life as well too, and that's okay. Everyone's kind of on their own journey, their own way. And but when you're coming home to yourself, you know what's right for you, and you know where you're going, and you wish everybody well and love, and but you're still true to you. You're not willing to shape shift and blend into this crowd and then blend into this crowd and be like this way here and be like this way here. Like you stop needing to do that, because as women, a lot of us shape shift, and depending on the crowd, depending on the situation. So you stop to do that as well too. And also you will notice when you live in alignment, you don't need to force anymore. You just kind of walk through life, and knowing that things are working out for you, knowing that you have this trust, and knowing that you're on your path. And yes, things will come up, no question about it too. It's not like it's always sunshine and roses and you never have any stress or situations come up. Sometimes those are just to kind of, not to say test you, but also just to kind of see, like, are you in alignment? Like, here's a situation. But you stop needing to force your way through. You stop needing to like hustle and work hard and all that kind of stuff. You just kind of go through life in a little bit of a different frame, a little bit different perspective as well. You kind of don't know. You kind of trust where you're going, and you trust where you're being led. That's how I look at it at this point too. And as I mentioned too, you just have more energy, because when you're living out of alignment, it's a lot of energy to uphold, to be someone that you're not, to kind of perform, right? Like, we're performing, kind of acting this way to kind of get external gratification, to get external, support or whatever it may be. So when you're yourself, like, you have more energy for things that you want to do. So those are ways that I have found that starts to actually change when you become more yourself and you live in alignment and you start to trust yourself as well too. All right. So one thing I think I want to really make sure you're aware of is just a misconception about alignment as well too, because it's a new way of being. It's a different way than we've been taught as well too. And it can feel uncomfortable, no question about it. Some things I've gone through were really uncomfortable. But again, it's just a new way of being. And with time and with confidence and, over time, it becomes a little bit easier, and that's okay. Like you know you're moving along the continuum. It's not going to be perfect. When you're in alignment, it's not going to be perfect. And I'm not going to say you're never going to have any fear when you start to do things differently, things that are aligned for you as well too. I'm not going to say you're never going to have any fear, because you are. And I've had fear. But there's this calmness, there's this peace, there's this just trust in yourself that is so worth it, that you don't have to kind of do what everybody else is doing as well too. So again, I want you to know that when you're in alignment, it's not going to look perfect at first, and I'm not going to say you're never going to have any fear at all, because that wouldn't be true as well too. So it's really just choosing yourself when that fear moment comes in, and just starting to make some of those little baby steps, those little micro shifts, those little just moment to moment. You're choosing choosing yourself. You're choosing what's in alignment for you as well too. And that happens day to day, moment to moment, all the time as well too. So again, when we start to live in alignment and when we become true with ourselves, it's a gradual practice. It's like anything. It's not like one day you're suddenly all aligned and everything comes into play and it's just easy sailing. No, it's moment to moment. It's a practice, like anything. So I want you to be aware of that. So just I would ask you, like, for you, like when you start to live in alignment with yourself, what do you think will feel different in your life? Where do you think you will be as well too? So that's something to consider as well too. So I would love you to, if this series resonates with you, you can subscribe, because I've got more content coming on topics similar to this as well, things that I want to go deeper in with you as well too. Review, give this a thumbs up. That's, I think, what we do here in YouTube land. And also tell me too in the comments, share them with me too, some of the maybe obstacles you've had in coming home to yourself and living in alignment with yourself, maybe some of the struggles you've had, or maybe some of the wins you've had, because they're all equal. And again, like I said before, it's a practice. It's moment to moment. It doesn't happen overnight. But when you start to live this way, over time, it kind of compounds and it's cumulative, and it's just a new way of living. So you can share that in the comments below as well too, because other people like to kind of sometimes get other ideas as well too. So anyway, this is number 9 video, and I will see you in the next video, and I wish you all a lovely day. Take care. Bye-bye.